Okay. Maybe let's put this on to see if anybody else comes on. So the Mishnah, Rashi says the Kashi is that the words Malikas Agbiva sounds like it was the victims, he ignited the victim's property, and therefore, why does it say the reason why it's chayiv is because it's normal to be inside, and a Gadish not? If he did the victim's property, so then even a Gadish also. I said the Kashi is a little different. The words of the Gemara say that you want to say a case which is chayiv, you could have continued saying a case. You just want to say a case where they're one on moda. So don't say a case where it's normal. You could have said a case which is in the victim's property, but not that the words definitely mean that. And that's to point out a question on Rashi that the word in the Reish is also Madlikas HaKadosh. How do you see in the words Madlikas Abira that it means more that you went his property than the words Madlikas HaKadosh? I don't see Rashi's there. The Gemara is going to sound like Rashi soon, but at this point, how does the Gemara medayik that the Madlikas Abira means that it's his property, and Madlikas HaKadosh means that it was in your own property? It's the same words. So I don't see the diuk so much. But it's a kasha on the side, footnote. So Rava is challenging Rav Kana that he doesn't agree to him. Rav Kana said that if you ignite the victim's property, so then there's no ptor of Talmud. And he says it does not much like that. So Elam Rava. But Rava's going to say also, it's interesting that Rava is also going to agree there is a difference if it's on your property or on his property, but he's not going to be as extreme as Rav Kana. Elam Rava, Batati Pligi. There are two machloks in between Rav Yehuda and Rabbana. The first thing is the same as you said. You made a fire in your own domain and it traveled to the friend's domain. Is there a ptor of Taman? So far, that's the same. Is there a ptor of Taman? But now, there's going to be a machlokis. There is going to be a machlokis. So if Kana said at this point there's no machlokis, if you ignited the victim's property, everyone knows there's no Taman, no ptor. But he says no, there is a machlokis over there also, and that's going to be the second machlokis of the Mishnah. Kliginami, I think the madlik b'shel chaveru. In a case where you ignited the friend's property, so there's a machlokis. Abuda lishita, so there's no ptor of Taman at all. Abuda sava mishal kol mashe b'socho afilo arniki. There's no ptor, even something which is mamish not normal. Arniki, a wallet in a haystack, in a wheat stack. There's nothing that no one has that. That's really not normal. Till now, we assumed that arniki, a wallet in the house is normal. A wallet in the kalim that says in the Mishnah, it sounds like kalim that are also not normal. You learn the Mishnah. It says the kalim in the Gadish, locus, and then it says, but the wallet in the house is everyone's mother. Which I would think that the kalim in the Gadish is not normal. A Gadish only is a Gadish, and kalim don't belong there. But in the house, everything belongs over there. Even a wallet also. Now the Gemara is saying the Gemara is going to learn different shot. The Gemara is going to learn that kalim is also normal. There's no difference between the two examples. The two examples are really the same. The kalim and the gadish is normal. The kalim and the gadish is normal. People used to keep kalim inside the gadish. Why did they do that? They had a haystack or a wheat stack, and they put kind of
kalim. No space. It's like a never Yisrael here. We have no space.
But you have to get to the kalim. Yes, they have to pull it out of the. I'm not sure. Maybe they were hiding it from people.
Yeah, people break them.
Even though everyone knows that the kalim are in the garbage. It's normal to be there.
It's covered. It's
covered. Okay. You don't see it. You don't see it.
Get to a storage house in the
field. So way the Gemara says it seems to be a very not pashut shot. The Gemara is learning that the kalim in the gadish is normal and the wallet in the house is normal. Same level of normalcy. But there's a wallet in the haystack that's not normal. And that the Gemara is going to say there's a difference according to Rabbanan. If it's, I'll just say it outside the way I understand it, we'll see in the words if it makes sense, that Rabbanan say if you lived in your own rishus and it went, there's a ptor of Tamar. But things that are normal, how does it go? That even things that are, I'm sorry, I'm not getting it. Let's see the words. If you ignited the victim's property, Rabbi says Yechai Mamish, even Arniki. And Arniki
is not normal
in the Gadish. Rabbanan Sabri Kelim Shadakal Hatman Begadish Kigon Morbigan Uklei Baka Hudim Mishalim. But Kelim Shein Dakal Hatman Begadish, no Mishalim. That you're a masking, that you're going to be chayiv for Kelim that are normal. Kalim that are not normal, you put them even in the other one's property. Again, could you help me? That there's a difference between if you let in your own domain or you let in his domain. According to Rabbi, there's no difference. They always hide. There's nothing to talk about. According to Rabbi, there's no P'tor of Taman at all. But according to Rabbanan, there's a P'tor of Taman. But there's a difference between your own property and the victim's property. In your own property, you're going to be more putter. You putter,
And you have the P'tor of Taman.
then you putter even
In your own
on
property?
you putter even on things that are normal. You putter even on things that are normal, but you putter even on things that are normal to be there. But in Balik Shel Chavero, then you're not. But then you're chayiv on things that are normal. You only putter on things that are not normal. What are Rav Kana say that in the other guy's property you're chayiv on everything? Rabbi holds there's no P'tor of Taman at all, ever. And Rabbi Abbanan say there's a P'tor of Taman only when it's out of his property. But if he went into his property, he made the fire in his property, then there's no P'tor of Taman at all. According to Rava, there's also going to be a P'tor of Taman inside his property, but only something which is not normal. Masha'en Kain, if you're lit outside of his property, you're lit on your property, so then you have a bigger P'tor of Taman, even things that are normal. So the Rebbe said that they want to say it's butter by the kalim inside is because it's normal. Also because it's normal. So the mission is very, very difficult according to the Gemara's shot, because the mission says a case of the Gadish, the kalim in the Gadish, and it says a case of anything in the house. And then Bash the Mishnah would sound that the first case is not normal, and the second case is normal. That's the chiluk the Mishnah is making.
Two different Mishnayos? Three different Mishnayos?
Modim Chacham Rav Yehuda. So it's going on what you just said, Modim. And it comes out that there's no difference. Both of them, Kalim is normal in the Gadish and Anarchy is normal in the house. And the first case you're going to be chayiv because you live in your own property, even though it doesn't say it says Madakas HaGadish. And Madakas HaBira, we're supposed to know that it means you lit his Bira. So if I got it right, so it's very difficult in the words. The words are hard to see it. But that's how, that's what comes out. According to Rav Kana, there's no P'tor of Taman at all. According to Rava, there's a P'tor of Taman even in the other guy's property. If it's not according to Chacham, even the Chacham, Rabbi doesn't know P'tor of Taman at all. According to Rabbanan, there's also going to be a P'tor of Taman if you ignited his property. That if something which is not normal to be there, if it's normal to be there, there's no P'tor. And in the outside of his property and your property, so then there's a P'tor of Taman, even something which is normal to be there. Okay. Hamalik es hagadish. This is a regular case that you hit a gadish and there was something that was hidden inside there, and they burnt. No P'tor of Taman, you have to pay for everything. A little bit smaller. You only have to pay for the wheat or the barley, whatever it is. And here it says b'feivish. This was referring to before in the Mishnah. For we all know that you do have to pay for the kalim as if it would have been tvua. You don't just take out, I'm only chayiv for the wheat, I'm not chayiv for the kalim. You do estimate how much the kalim would have been worth if they would have been if there only would have been wheat. On the top of the page, so the Bryce itself says this. Until now we spoke about Rav Kana and Rava. Now the Bryce itself says there's a difference if he did it in your property, he did it in his property. So it seems to be word for word Rav Kana that it says you have to pay. There's no P'tor of Taman in the victim's property. Rashi says, and Taisus, that you can get out of it. Rava will say it's only talking about darkim that are things that are normal. That if it's not normal, then you putter even if it was in his property. So the more does make an issue out of it. Rashi says you have to say that according to Rava, you have to be matrik the brisa. And now the main point, so that all that we had already, and the Gemara is not bringing Tani Kavasi the Rav Kana. The Gemara doesn't see any raya over here. But now the brisa says interesting thing. Mod Rav Yehuda l'chachamim b'mashal mokum l'chavero l'hagdish gadish v'higdish v'hitmin. Till now we spoke about mazik. So Yehuda says there's no P'tor of Taman. If you burn somebody's thing down, so you're chayiv even if it had Taman inside. But now it's talking about a place where Yehuda will say there's a P'tor, but not mitzad mazik, but mitzad if you're a shomer. If the reason why I have to pay is because you're a shomer. Somebody I lent space to my friend that I told him he's allowed to make a gadish, and he made a gadish, but he also put some kalim inside. and then it got burnt. So I'm not chayv mazik. I'm chayv shomer, and I wasn't able to be a shomer only on a godish. You didn't tell me you're going to put a kalim inside. So misad mazik, I'd be chayv, but I'm not chayv mazik. It's my property. I'm only chayv because I accepted to be a shomer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shakol niyeh b'dvaro. Amen. But inside, if he lent a place to his friend to make a gadish, lagdish gadish, to make a pile of wheat, the higdish v'hitmin, but besides the gadish, he also put something inside. And Mishalom El to make gadish b'vad, he only has to pay for the gadish because he didn't accept to be a shomer more than that. If more cases, lahagdish chitin v'higdish soren. If he got permission to put a pile of chitim, but he only did soren, of course, and then the soren got burnt, how much are you going to pay? The mice only got lost. He only lost soren. You don't have to pay more than he lost. Or the opposite case, soren vig the chitim. He gave him permission to put in barley, but he did something more expensive. He put in chitim. So I didn't accept to watch chitim. I only accepted to watch soren. It's much cheaper. And even if he was poshay, he doesn't have to pay more than he accepted because now mitzad mazik. Yes, mitzad shomer, and he wasn't able to be a shomer. Only to a limited. How do you call that? A revon mukbal. I only have a limited amount of responsibility. Chitin v'chipan v'soren. How about if he put chitim? He put wheat, but he covered it. He covered it up with the outside layer was barley. So the owner only thought that there was barley. So even though I accepted to be a shomer on a lot, but I only see that there's sorim over there. So my pshia is only on sorim. I'm not going to pay more than sorim. So it doesn't say the psak yet. It's going to say the psak soon. Sorim v'chitim v'chitim. If it was really sorim, but on the outside layer was chitim, but inside was sorim. So the mice, how much did I damage? Only the sorim. Chitim v'chitim. All these cases. Did I say everything already? So all these cases, and a mishalim all these cases, you only have to pay for the sorim, either because he didn't have a shus to bring in more than that, or because he wasn't mazik more than that. Interesting case coming up. I think this is a discussion for the Shabbos table. Someone asked a woman to watch a silver coin. Really, it was a golden coin, but he didn't tell her. He told her, I'm giving you a picodon to watch. It's a silver. Take care of it. But really, it was gold. And then at the end, so now it depends. Hizikatu mishlemis den zahav mishum dam Allah may have Allah kabei dazakte. If not that she was just a poshe and the shmira, she actually damaged it. This part of Rava's statement has nothing to do with the shomer, even if somebody mazik. This is the question I want to put out on the Shabbos table. I think it's a nice discussion. Somebody damaged something. Not a shomer. He damaged something. But he thought that it was a cheap thing. And then they come in to tell him, you know what you damaged? It's worth a lot of money. So he says, I didn't mean to damage it. I wouldn't have damaged it if I would have known that it's so expensive. What do you think? He thought he's damaging a $10 object. Really, it's $1,000.
He had a picture.
He had a picture, and he wanted to take a picture. He didn't know that it's what do they call it, a Rembrandt. And then he says, you know,
it's a $2 million picture.
So he says, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I meant to damage it. I didn't know it was so expensive. So he's chayiv. Is it a chiddush? What are they going to say about the table? You can see what they're going to say. What are they going to say? So that's what it says here. She happens to be a shomer. That wasn't the point. She was mazikit. A shomer doesn't have any more permission to be mazik than anybody else. So if she was mazikit, she has to pay what it really was worth because he tells her, what did you do? What did you mazik it for? But if she wasn't mazikit,
she has no right to spend it and replace it.
Right.
Same thing.
Right. But if she just was negligent in the shmira, pasha bo. But if she just was negligent, so she's not chayiv for being mazik. She's chayiv because she wasn't a good shomer, but she only accepted to be a shomer on silver. So then she doesn't have to pay. Mishlam shel kesef. Then she only has to pay kesef because she could say, I didn't accept that. I only accepted upon myself the responsibility to watch silver. I didn't accept upon myself to watch gold. So then she'd be potter. That was Rava's din. Rava said that. That was Rava's din. And the mazik part seems to be pashut. Maybe it is pashut, but it's like an interesting thing. You have such a thing by Averis. Shagag B'Koris V'Hizid B'Lav. He knew it's an Avera, but he didn't know how serious the Avera is. Talks about that's called the Shogeg. There's the Chayv things over there. So here's by Nezik, you don't have such a p'tur. If you damage, you damage. You weren't supposed to damage.
I feel like you would right if it's a because otherwise you let your kid play with a $10 object, you wouldn't let them play with a $1,000 object.
So if it's mitzad a shomer, he's a pshi on the shmira. But if he's chayv mitzad mazik, maybe giving it to the kid is called pshi on the shmira. It's only called a pshia and the shmir if the kid he didn't do a good shmir. I think shlichus yad is that called that you're masik or that you just didn't do a good shmir. I don't know. Amalei Rav Marchel Rav Mashi Atun b'derava masnisula. Anan mimasnisa pshitalan. The reason why the Gemara brings the story is because it has something similar before about the person came in with the gaddish and he put something else. So that's what the Gemara was saying. It's right from there. Rav Mordechai told Rav Ashi that you say this over in the name of Rava. That's how it was quoted. Amar Rava. Like the Gemara is saying, Rav Ashi is the one who said it over. Rav Ashi said in the name of Rava, this then about pshia, you're not chayiv more than you accepted to watch. I have a raya. We have a raya from a brisa. Anan. We have a right from a rice. The rice we just finished learning. Chitan v'chipan b'sorin, sorin v'chipan b'chitan, and a mishal mel the sorin b'vad. That if the case we gave permission, I gave permission that you can leave something in my rishus, and it was cut, but it looked like it was sorim, or he only had rishus to do sorim. This is the harder point. The sorin v'chipan b'chitan. This is the case where not that what he accepted, but what it looked like. It looked like barley. What he looked like, it looked like barley. So he only accepted to watch the barley. He only paid alma amalei. Tirusa the sari kabili alai. Why is he putter? Because he could say, I only accepted to watch the sorim because that's what I saw. So Hachanami amalei tirusa the davalo kabili alai. She could say that I didn't accept. She didn't see that it was gold. So you have this ptor that when someone's a shomer, we only accept, even though if it would have been a good shomer, nothing would have happened. But I wasn't a good shomer, but I only accepted with Aravon Mugbal, only with limited liability. Rugamara. Rav said, Shmuel Smil said Rabbi Yehuda, I heard something about Rabbi Yehuda. Rashi has Rabbi Yehuda of our Mishnah. The din of Rabbi Yehuda about Tomer. Rabbi Yehuda holds there's no ptor of Tomer Beish. If something was inside, you have to pay. The Rabbanan also said there's going to be a case where you have to pay. We said if you did it in the victim's property, according to Avkana, according to Rava, if it's normal. But there are cases where you have something that you didn't see, that's Tomer. And the extreme case would be Rabbi Yehuda. He holds there's no ptor of Tomer at all. I heard something about it, and I don't know what it is. I forgot what I heard. Rav said he forgot what he heard about Rabbi Yehuda's din of Talmud. Amma Shmuel lo yada Abba my Shmuel. Abba is his name. Rab's name was, we call him Rab. His real name was Abba, and Shmuel refers to him by his name, Abba. Abba doesn't know what he heard. What he heard about Rabbi Yehuda? What he heard about Rabbi Yehuda? The Mechayiv on this case, Talmud Beish. Also, the Takonis Nigzal Beisho. There's a thing called Takonis Nigzal. It means somebody was robbed. And he comes to Bezin and he proves that he was robbed. They saw the gun coming out of the window. But what did he steal? That is no proof. There's proof that he stole, and Bezin's going to be Mechayim. But how much did he steal? So he says that he stole $1,000. And he says, no, I only stole $100. So is he really, how do you do? He didn't have Adam how much he stole. So there's a takana that the Nigzal can make a shvur. He swears how much was stolen and then he collects. Usually, Kolan Ishbon, I forgot the word, Niftaran or something like that. But Elul Ishbon Benotlan. That there are some cases that they make a shvur in order to take. Usually,
Right,
shvur is only.
this guy's a goddess, so he can't swear. He's not belief.
Mm-hmm. That's probably what the Gemara says. So therefore, Shekinegdo Nishba. So here, that's a takana that the Nigzal is allowed to make a shvur. Here too, this is the case of Talmud, that the guy made a fire and he was mazik, then it was a haystack. And now the guy says that there was a box of money inside. So and according to Yehuda is
In a
chayiv.
case like that, that psak, the place was robbed by a Jewish person, and they filed for when it came to for insurance, they filed a lot higher than that was actually taken. So it put the person in a different bracket as far as how much he stole for a more serious crime. So I asked for David, and once the person put himself in that situation, it's his responsibility.
I would say not. I mean, I would ask that the point is that the other one is believed with a shvur, not that he's allowed to lie.
Right.
So
No, that's for sure.
So how's
Yeah,
that?
I told him that they significantly upped the amount of money.
That guy's not allowed to do. It's going to be a grumma how much. I know he's causing him more punishment and stuff like that.
But not he's lying to the insurance company. That's also. Forget about anything else. Forget about this other guy. I mean, you're supposed to be honest.
So that's a
Right.
takana. That's called takanas nigzal. That the nigzal. So here, according to Yehuda, that he's chayiv on someone, but how much is he going to pay? He says, "I only brought a haystack," and he says, "No, there was inside." Who says? So he swears and he's believed. And also as to get to Rabbanan, also Tosis points out that Rabbanan also agreed to sometimes a chiv of Taman if it was in the rishus. the nizik. Boya meima. Also, takina takanas nigzal b'moser olo. A moser is a moser. How do you say a moser in English? Slash?
Informer.
Informer. And it caused somebody informed on a Jew, and they came and they took his money. And the question, how much money they took? So first of all, he's a chayiv or not? Is the most chayiv? The Gemara talks about maybe it's only a grama, maybe it's only indirect chayiv b'dei shemayim, maybe it's not chayiv b'dei adam. So the Gemara says maybe it's called garmi. There's something called garmi which we didn't have the Gemara yet, but we spoke about it, the concept a little bit. That sometimes it's called, even though it's only indirect, but it's close. It's very close. And for some reason that's called garmi. I don't know what in the Hebrew. I don't know what the difference is the word grama or garmi, but the word garmi means that's a kind of a grama that you're chayiv for. So you have to pay. I'll leave the mandam lo dainin and dina de garmi. If you hold that you're not chayiv, we're not chayiv him to pay, even if he did something that's called garmi, which is a very, very close, very positive indirect. Even though it's indirect, but it's so positive it's going to happen. So there's a machlokes if he's chayiv. So if you hold lo dainin and dina de garmi, we don't pass on that he has to pay. So then there's no question. He's potter. He doesn't have to pay. But kiti boiloch, I'll leave it to mandama dina de garmi. But if you hold that you do paskin on the din of Gambi, and he does have to pay, but how much? So he says, I was stolen this and this much money. And he says, I don't know how much they took from you. Also, the kind of things did they make such a takana that the Masur, the one who was given over, the one who was informed on, he could make a shvu and take how much he claims that it was, or no, he has to prove how much was taken from him. Take it, that we don't know. The first case by Talmud, the Gemara seems to say yes. Also, the kind of things but here the Gemara says, take it, the case of the Masur, we don't know. Who gavra?
This is mostly to non-Jews, or
I don't know. I don't think it's a difference. Yeah, I don't know if it should be a difference.
Misa, if he's mostly to non-Jews, even for Mammon.
Is that? I don't know that. I mean, I just don't know.
I thought that's what the Rambam
for money.
You might say that. You mean to say like Moridin Vein Mal and something like that. Moridin Vein Mal doesn't mean that it's Chayiv Misa. It means that Moridin, that if you have opportunity to indirectly causes death, so then you're allowed to do it, even not to Bezdin. If you think it's what it says over there, Moridin Vein Malin, that you ask him to get something inside the board, then you take away the ladder, like indirectly you cause him to die. But maybe check it out. There's din about Mosa. Ahu Gavra, the Bartash Bekasefta the There was a man who kicked the kasefet. Now that's the modern Hebrew word for a safe. Kasefet. I think they got it from here. He kicked the safe of his friend. Rashi says, what's a kasefet? Kasafet kaspasta. Rashi says, Argash Manichin Boksofa. Money, a box you put of money. That's called a kasefet, a safe. So he kicked the safe and Shadi ibn Aro threw it into the river. This is somebody else's money box. And the owner came and said, such and such amount of money I had inside the safe. And the question was, do we believe him? What's the question? Is it regular Gazlan? No, this is a Takanas Nigzal. I don't see what the question is. So Rashi was thinking, what's going to be the halacha about this case? I'm not sure what the question is. Why is that a regular Gazlan? Or Mazik? He took somebody's money, he threw it into the river.
He just kicked it.
He kicked it, okay.
He didn't take it, didn't make a kinyan on it.
But it's a mazik. It's a mazik.
Is that not Bethan's possession?
What's the case? If it will be a Kinyani Gazela, then we believe him. And here now that he's a mazik.
So the question is, what are you going to You're going to be chayim. The question is what?
But how much? So like Moshe said, that the case of the Ganav, you can't swear.
Right. Because
he's a Ganav. But here also he doesn't have much. He can't swear that there was less. The guy
he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. So what's the question? Why shouldn't he be believed?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, so that's what maybe that's what.
Okay, but he has to make a shul.
He wants to make a shul. He wants to make a shul. So if Rashi was asking, what's the halacha? Or said to Rashi, isn't it our Mishnah? Our Mishnah doesn't say about this point. The Gemara had to add on that that's what the Konas Nigzal, but the Gemara seems it in the Mishnah already. The Mishnah says that it's chayiv for Taman, and even the Chacham say it's chayiv for Taman sometimes. They that even the Rabbanan that say there's no ptor of Taman, they say that sometimes there is a ptor of Taman. Sometimes they say there's no ptor of Taman, and the way the Gemara explained that it was either because it's normal, and okay, in the property of the other person. So it's nothing to do with the case of kicking the safe has nothing to do with Taman. But you see that there's such thing as being chayiv for something that's unknown, and you have to say, I guess the Gemara understands, you have to say, like we said on top, that also the konas nigzal beisho. So here you should trust him to swear and say how much was money was inside the box. Amalei idikaton zuzi hachanami. If he would have claimed this money over there, which is normal to put in a safe, so then there's no question. He could swear and say how much money there was, and he's being believed. But over here, the question is that he said that there's a diamond over there, there's a marganisa, a pearl, there was some very expensive stone. And the question is, do people put that in the safe or not? Maybe it's not believed. There has to be something within reason. Although the people put their precious stones, do they put it in a kasefet or not? So nowadays we'll say for sure they do. That's what a safe is all about. But in those days, maybe it was only made for money. It was a money box. It wasn't made for such kind of expensive things. Then maybe you'd put it into you'd bury it or something like that. So again, the Gemara says teku. So it's relevant to us also that the case of Taman, if there be something that he's going to claim that's really not expected, maybe he's not going to be believed, and the Gemara leaves that as a question. What if he said that there was a silver cup? Is that something that now everybody has a silver cup nowadays? Everybody has a kiddush cup. Sure. It's like very basic. Anybody. So, but everybody has the silver cup, but there was only for the rich people. See, that's the most question. Is believed to say a casa de caspa that if he had a silver cup in the house, he has a beer, even as a mansion. Does he have a silver cup? Silver was much more expensive in those days, relevant to what it is today. So Amalei Chazina, we look at each case specifically. Do this like If he's a rich man, the word Amid means rich. If he's a rich man, that he has such kind of things, he has silver cups. Okay, then he's believed. Or he's a trustworthy person that people will be marketed, he'd be a custodian for such kind of people that they will tell them to watch their silver cups, so then he's believed. Then he can make a shvua. He's believed with a shvua. But if not, he's not a rich man, or he's not trustworthy so much that people would lend him would ask him to hold on to things. He's not believed even with a shvua. Very fascinating. He's not even believed with a shvua because it's too far fetched. I'm not sure how it comes in over here. How does it come in over here? I don't know. What's the difference between a gazlan and a chamsan? Good to say the word chamsan. There's a gate chamas, but that's not, the Torah doesn't say don't be a chamsan. I think that some hold that the word lo sachmod is to be a chamsan. When you covet somebody else's things and you force them to sell it to you, I think. But here he asked him halachically, what's probably rabbinic terms? What's called a gazlan, what's called a chamsan? Amalei chamsan yoav demei. Gazlan lo yoav demei. The gazlan stole it without giving money. The chamsan stole it with giving money. He paid for it, but he stole it and gave money. And the Gemara says if he gave money, he says not a gazlan. Amalei, you have the demei chamsan cost. They calling him a chamsan if he gave money. If somebody forced somebody to sell something, he hung him up to force him to sell something, and he sold it. So it's a good sale. So if he forced him to sell it, but he gave money, so he forced him. So it's a good sale. So why are you calling him a chamsan? It's not a nice thing to do, maybe, but you can't call him a chamsan. If then he agreed or not. If he hung him up, he twisted his arm until he said yes. Okay, he said yes. Then zvine is zvine. But if he just gave the money and took it, and the guy didn't agree, so then he's called a chamsan. There was no agreement. I'm sure it needs explanation, but that's for the travel.
I always thought I think it's slang for I always understood as cheapskate.
What's cheapskate?
When someone calls someone a chamsan.
Oh, I don't know. Kamsan.
Oh, sorry.
That's with a kuf.
That's a cheap kiss.
Stingy. Mishnah. Last Mishnah of the parak. Gates. Also Aish over here. Gates means a spark. A spark that came under the hammer. He had a anvil and he was banging, and the spark came out and it was mazik. He's high because you have to watch when you're making sparks. You have to watch that it shouldn't be mazik. There was a camel loaded with pishtan, which is very flammable, and it's passing through Rishus Harabim. You have to be careful that it shouldn't catch on fire. And the pishtan was overloaded in the way that it went into the store, and it got lit there was a fire inside the store. So it's not the Chavani's problem. I'm not supposed to come into my store with pishtan. And he pushed it. If the got on fire, there was a fire and it lit the bira, so then the Bal Gamel was going to be chayiv. And here, I remember the Gemara put us down as far as Eishim Mishum Chitza, that if they hold Eishim Mishum Amono, so why should the Bal Gamel, you're not chayiv for your camel's fire. Your camel made a fire, so you're not chayiv for your camel's fire. The Gemara talks about Eishim Mishum Chitza, be chayiv for your camel's fire, because like Sroros. But if you hold Eishim Mishum Amono, you shouldn't be chayiv for your camel's fire. but that's what the Mishnah seems to say. The Gemara is going to say, if the case will be that it's Mishum Mamona, the case will be that he rubbed against the beaver itself, so it's called not throw, it's not that he threw it, so then it would be chayiv like the Gumel himself did it. That's if it's the Gumel's fault. But in but if the Chavani put his nair outside, you're not supposed to put a fire outside. It's normal for camels to pass by with flammable stuff. So then the Chavani is chayiv. But if it was ner Chanukah that he had outside, and then the camel passed by, so the Chavani says, I had a right to put it outside. How many places in the Mishnayos does it say Chanukah? In all the Mishnayos. Purim is almost Mesechus Megillah. How much is Chanukah? So this is one Mishnah where it says Ner Chanukah Potter comes in Agav, and there's one more Mishnah that I know of. It says in Mesechus Megillah of which creates the Torah and all the different Chagim, and over there's what you read on Chanukah. Otherwise, I don't recall that there's another Mishnah about Chanukah. Everything else in the Gemara speaks so again Mesechus Shabbos, couple of daf, but in the Mishnayos I don't recall that it's there. You can make a search. I don't recall that there's any place else. And now the Gemara wants to say, how come the Gemara? I'll say the question before just a preview. Why is the Chanukah? Why is he put on Chanukah? Because you have to put it outside, but you can put it in a safe place outside. And the Gemara calls a safe place that it could have been very high above the camel. You're allowed to put a Chanukah there outside. Yeah, it's true. You have to put a Chanukah there outside, but that doesn't mean you have to put it in a dangerous place. Outside also has safe places. Put it higher than a camel. It's not 20 amas. 20 amas you can't put in there Chanukah, but the camel's not 20 amas. So put it above the camel. That the Gemara wants to bring it right that you have to put in there Chanukah low. How low? The Gemara doesn't see a difference of putting it low only if it's going to be within 10 tefachim. 10 tefachim, the Gemara considers low, and the choice is going to be either there's a chiyuv to put it less than 10 tefachim or there's no limit. Of course, 20 amas is possible if it's higher than 20 amas. But there's no lachatchila to put it low. And that's the Gemara's deal. That if you see that you put by Ner Chanukah, that means that you weren't allowed to put it higher than the camel. Why? Must be you're supposed to put it within 10 tefachim. That's what the Gemara starts. I can prove from Rabbi Yehuda that you should put a Ner Chanukah within 10 tefachim of the ground. If you're allowed to put it even higher than 10 tefachim, why is he put the Ner Chanukah by leaving a flame outside? He could have said the one who has the pishton, he should have put it higher above the camel and the camel driver. It means put it above danger. It must be that you're supposed to put it within 10 tefachim. And because the Gemara doesn't see, you can't say, so there's no din of 10 tefachim, there's 20 tefachim. The Gemara doesn't have anything like that. The Gemara is either 10 tefachim or nothing. So it must be that there's a mitzvah l'chachila to put it within 10 tefachim. Amri, they said it's not a raya. Low, not necessarily. It could be that there's no such mitzvah to put it within 10. You're allowed to put it wherever you want within 20. But there's still, the Chanukah is going to be put there. Even the Chatchil you got to put it higher than 10. What is your taina that the Chavani should have put it higher than the camel? That's very hard. It's very hard to put it so high. Even the mitzvah they weren't mechayiv somebody to put it so high. There's no reason to put it less than 10. But you're going to say you have to put it dafka out of danger. You have to put it higher than the camel. That's very, very high. People can do that. So there's no right. The Gemara ends off that there's no right. They have to have a man in their Chanukah within 10. But in the poskim it says lachatchila to do that.
Really?
Even lachatchila put it within 10 tefachim, which is not very high. Like it's about the table, a little bit lower, 80 centimeters. So people do try to do that. A lot of times you can't because you have a whole bunch of neighbors that all of them putting it, so then you can't. But the chatchila, it does say to put it within 10 tefachim. There's Gemara, Rav Kamma, Darash Abnasim, Bar Menyumin, Mishmei Rabbi Tanchum, Nechanukah Shenichol Lamala Me'esrim Mama Psula, Kesukah Chamavoi. So it's not a Mishnah that says that Nechanukah is puzzle. Over 20, it says Sukkah Mavoi. The Sukkah can be higher than 20 amas. I said the Tvachim amas. The Sukkah can be higher than 20 amas. The Mavoi, the Korah that you put by the entrance of the alleyway in order to make that it should be considered closed off for Shabbos, also can be higher than 20 amas. People don't see it, but doesn't say about Chanukah. On that, Rabbi Tanchum said that the Chanukah also shouldn't be higher than 20 yamas, just like a Sukkah and Mavoi is possible. Why? Because people don't see it. Here also, it's not going to be noticeable to people, so it has to be within 20 yamas. This is the whole Makor. The Gemara spoke about 10 Tvachim, and we come out that you don't have to have even lachatchila. The Gemara doesn't have a right that you have to have lachatchila 10 Tvachim. The poskim say yes, lachatchila to do that. And the Gemara says that the higher than 20 yamas is possible. Adkan. Okay, tomorrow, Bez Hashem, we start Merubah.
Okay, so tomorrow we can make it 3:15. Okay, I think.
Okay, 3:15 tomorrow, Bez Hashem, Perek Merubah.
Early start working in the morning.